Yo, what is up guys? Blake here bringing you a discussion video today, and I'm going to be talking about blade stack and trap stack shatter and why I don't think that overall these setups are healthy for the game. So before I get the video started, I just want to say two things really quick. First of all, this is just my opinion. You may or may not agree with me, which is totally fine. I just want to open up a discussion, and I'd love to hear what you guys think in the comments down below. But I feel like most people will agree with me, and I've been hearing a lot of people in the community kind of talk about this. And second off, I don't think that trap stack and blade stack is all bad. Although I think in general these kind of strategies aren't healthy for the game, especially in the current state that it's in. I don't think that it's all bad and that everything about it is a problem, but there are some concerns I have about it, and let's just get straight into that. So in sort of ascending order from the least problematic to the most problematic, let's just get straight into it. And I think the first one is that it doesn't require as much skill as other playstyles. Now that is a pretty big problem already right off the bat, but it's okay to have some strategies in PvP that don't require as much skill and are kind of just more simple and laid back. Not everybody wants to sweat in PvP, and you know, I can understand that, right? So a strategy that doesn't require as much skill, obviously PvP is meant to be competitive and stuff like that, so when you do a strategy that's effective but isn't really difficult to play or technical, then it kind of creates this meta that's a bit weird, because you have people that are ranking up and doing strategies and doing well just simply because the strategy is good and not because they're playing good. The way that you play trap stack and blade stack shatter is almost identical every game. Obviously there is some difference between each match, but it's typically just race to get your buffs as soon as possible and then get a one shot, which is very easy to do. Usually run a really small deck, and there's no need for real counterplay as there was before, which I'll get into, because of the way that the meta is designed, the resist, the damage, the pierce, all that stuff. You either have enough time to get your buffs or you don't. So leading into the second biggest issue I have with trap stack and blade stack shatter is that too many people are doing it. When too many people are doing a specific strategy, that's usually a bad thing, because that's pretty broken or just too easy for how effective it is. And I think that's a problem with blade stack and trap stack shatter. You see way too many people doing it in queue. I think yesterday was the first day ever on stream that I didn't go against multiple people doing it. I think I played like one person doing it. Before that, for the last week or so, or even more than that, I would say that probably 60% of my matches, if not more, are against people doing blade stack and trap stack shatter. And when more than half your games are just one strategy that people argue are a little bit too easy to do and kind of just busted, that creates a real problem, right? The fact that too many players are doing it. If it was a small percentage of people, it wouldn't be so bad. It would be more of a unique play style, stuff like that. But the thing is, it's just like a lot of people are doing it, especially deaths and storms. It's rare to see a death that doesn't do trap stack, and it's pretty rare to see a storm that's not doing blade stack. Obviously that's not the case for every player. There's still players that do both schools without it, but the fact that so many people are doing it, I think also just inherently shows that there's a problem with that. So moving on to, I think, the third biggest problem that I have with blade stack and trap stack shatter is that they're not the same counters as there was before. So back in the day, I'd say about you know, a little less than a year ago, I used to do a lot of blade stack strategies, right? With blade stack and shatter TC, and it was a lot of fun. And I do admit and agree that those strategies were still more simple than kind of doing more PvP, and I would argue easier to do. There was still a lot more counterplay on both sides, and it required a lot more skill than the way it is right now. You really had to react and think how your opponent could do different things. You couldn't just spam a ton of buffs and then automatically win or automatically lose the game. There was much more counterplay, thinking how your opponent would play, and your opponent also had a lot more counters too. There was Earthquake TC that people would use a lot more than they do right now. There was Enfeeble as well. Obviously people with trap stack, it wasn't as effective, but in the meta back then, at least it was more aggro, so people could kind of deal with it better. There was just a lot more counters, and the way that the meta and the game was designed back then, when at least I used those kind of strategies, it felt a lot more fair. It didn't feel like it's kind of just, oh, I automatically win or automatically lose. There was way more counterplay on both sides, like I said, and in my opinion, I think it even required more skill than it does right now. So moving on to my final point of why I think in general blade stack and trap stack strategies are bad is because it creates these auto win, auto lose matches. almost every time. And what I mean by auto win, auto lose is that basically before the match even starts, right, you just load in and you figure out who your opponent is. You can basically determine whether or not you're gonna win that game. So if you guys watched my most recent fire video, I went against a death trap stack, and I knew basically from the very beginning that I was gonna win the game, and I'm sure that that death player knew that she was gonna lose the game as well. Now obviously if, you know, one player misplays, whatever, that can change the dynamic, but assuming that both players are playing on the same playing level, I was pretty much guaranteed to win. I didn't play bad or anything. I actually played quite good. I knew exactly what to do, but I knew exactly what she was trying to do. I did not allow her to get enough buffs on me. I just did an insane amount of damage, and there was nothing she could do. And that's a huge problem with this kind of setup, is that you get these matches where you know before the game even starts that you are going to win or you are going to lose. And it really depends on the matchup that you go against. For example, you take like a Blade Stack Shatter Storm. They typically do extremely well against balance, where typically regular Storm does horrible against balance, right? It's almost an auto win if you're a Blade Stack Shatter Storm going against a balance a lot of the times. And there are other matchups too, right? A Trap Stack Death that's not warded going against a fire, the fire is gonna auto win almost every single game, assuming that both players are playing the same. So when you create these kind of matchups and playstyles where the outcome of the match is essentially predetermined before the game even starts, that's really bad. And I think that's the biggest problem with these kind of strategies. Obviously, all the other things I mentioned are problems too, and they all kind of factor in together and culminate to why I think overall Trap Stack and Blade Stack Shatter is not healthy for the current state of the game. But I think that's the biggest problem of them all, is the fact that it creates those kind of games where before it even starts, you know exactly what's going to happen. I think that's about it. Those are the main issues that I have with Blade Stack and Trap Stack Shatter. If you guys have any thing that I might have missed in the video or that you guys want to talk about, please leave it in the comments down below. The whole reason why I wanted to make this video is kind of just to open a discussion about it, see how other players feel about it, raise awareness, all that good stuff, and just get your guys' opinion. So please let me know. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I just want to keep it short and sweet. I have some PvP up for you guys tomorrow, but I really wanted to make this because I feel like it's becoming more of a problem and more of an important thing to talk about in the PvP scene. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. It means a lot to me. Really appreciate you. Hope you guys enjoy the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. As always, peace out, guys.